Inflation in the United States has hit 4-decade high. Lower-income households face the worst of the crisis.
In May, inflation hit 8.6%, the highest in 40 years.
Have you ever wondered why everything seems so expensive nowadays? And what's happening in the labor market? These are pressing questions, and the Federal Reserve, the US central bank, is grappling with them as part of its dual mandate: stabilizing prices and maximizing employment. Balancing low inflation and unemployment is a delicate trade-off, with the Fed using interest rates to control price stability. However, opinions differ on whether it's possible to achieve maximum employment without igniting inflation. In the end, it's the American people who feel the impact as the Fed strives to strike a challenging balance. As the Federal Reserve navigates the intricacies of its dual mandate, the effects on the economy and the everyday lives of individuals become evident. The pursuit of price stability and maximum employment is a task that requires constant evaluation and adjustment. The central bank's decisions, particularly concerning interest rates, play a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of the labor market and the cost of living. The dual mandate was adopted by the Federal Reserve in the late 1970s, driven by the need to address the economic turmoil and high unemployment rates experienced during that time. Since then, the Fed has employed various tools and strategies to fulfill its mandate and maintain a balance between employment and inflation. One of the primary mechanisms the Fed employs is adjusting interest rates. Lowering interest rates stimulates borrowing and investment, which can spur economic growth and job creation. Conversely, raising interest rates makes borrowing more expensive, leading to reduced spending and potential job cuts. This delicate balancing act is intended to support both employment and price stability. However, critics argue that focusing on price stability alone may not adequately consider the impact on lower-income households. Rising costs, including housing, healthcare, and education, disproportionately affect those with limited financial resources. The Federal Reserve's emphasis on price stability may inadvertently overlook the challenges faced by these individuals and exacerbate income inequality. Furthermore, economists and policymakers have engaged in ongoing debates about the extent of the Fed's mandate. Some argue that the dual mandate should expand to encompass financial stability, reducing income equality, or addressing environmental concerns like climate change. This broader approach would reflect a more comprehensive understanding of the factors influencing economic well-being and provide the Fed with a broader scope for decision-making. However, any substantial changes to the mandate would require legislative action by Congress. In the absence of such reforms, the Federal Reserve maintains some degree of discretion in interpreting and implementing policies within the existing framework. Amidst these discussions and considerations, the central bank faces the challenge of finding the optimal balance between inflation and employment. Striving for maximum employment without igniting inflationary pressures is a complex task. While the Fed has managed to maintain relatively stable inflation and low unemployment rates in recent decades, achieving this delicate equilibrium relies on a multitude of factors, including the state of the economy, broader economic trends, and even political dynamics. In conclusion, the dual mandate of the Federal Reserve to stabilize prices and maximize employment reflects the complex nature of managing the economy. The central bank's decisions on interest rates and monetary policy directly impact the labor market and the cost of living for individuals. Balancing low inflation with sufficient job opportunities is an ongoing challenge, and opinions differ on how to best achieve this balance. As the Federal Reserve continues to navigate these complexities, the implications for the economy and the lives of everyday Americans remain at the forefront of economic discussions. The Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee, or the FOMC, is composed of members from the Board of Governors and regional reserve bank presidents. They convene to analyze economic and financial data before voting on interest rate adjustments guided by the dual mandate. These decisions involve exercising judgment, especially during close calls, highlighting the importance of a clear mandate from Congress. The challenge lies in balancing the objectives of reduced inflation and maintaining low unemployment. Striving for low inflation is necessary to maintain supply and demand equilibrium, but pushing for maximum employment may require stimulating demand beyond supply. However, excessive pursuit of low inflation could potentially lead to a recession and job losses. The Fed's approach aims to reduce inflation to create a stronger overall economy and ultimately generate more jobs. Although this may temporarily contradict the second mandate of lowering unemployment, proponents argue that the dual mandate has been effective in achieving relatively stable inflation and low unemployment in recent decades, as evidenced reinforced by the Fed's 2% inflation target, which helps anchor economic expectations. And once again, some economists argue that the Fed should return to a single mandate, abandoning the dual mandate approach. At this pivotal moment for monetary policy and the Fed, there is a possibility that they might consider reverting to a single mandate, as was the case in the late 1970s. This shift could promote greater economic stability in the long run, focusing primarily on price stability to ensure confidence in purchasing power and the value of money. While this alternative is preferred by some experts, it is unlikely to become a reality. One reason behind advocating for a price-focused mandate is the challenge of measuring and defining maximum sustainable employment accurately. Unlike the inflation target, which is widely known and understood at 2%, determining an exact measure for maximum employment is more complex and lacks a singular benchmark. Moreover, if the Fed overly prioritizes job growth, there is a risk of keeping interest rates too low for an extended period, potentially leading to long-term inflationary pressures. Striking the right balance between employment and price stability remains a challenge for the Federal Reserve. There continues to be a prevailing tendency among central banks to lean towards inflationary policies, albeit to a slight extent. This raises the question, why do we persistently push up the cost of living for ordinary individuals? Targeting a 2% increase in the cost of living essentially means deliberately aiming for inflation, which seems counterintuitive. One critique of the Federal Reserve's focus on price stability is its potential oversight of how escalating costs impact lower-income households. In this scenario, it becomes exceedingly challenging for individuals to save money and build financial security. Many workers find themselves receiving inadequate compensation for their efforts. Therefore, companies should place greater emphasis on income and compensation moving forward. If this shift occurs, it could naturally lead to a lower unemployment rate, benefiting both the Federal Reserve and its dual mandate. It's important to note that changing the mandate requires legislative action by Congress. Regardless, the central bank retains a certain level of discretion in interpreting the law and implementing policies. Perhaps it is time to reconsider reverting to a single mandate, as the Federal Reserve's policy shifts have tended to swing the economy too far in one direction and then overcorrect in response. Taking a proactive approach to policymaking rather than solely reacting to economic trends may yield more effective outcomes. It's crucial to remember a fundamental aspect of economic prosperity. The only sustainable method of increasing the real wealth of an economy is through innovation, enhanced productivity, and the development of new inventions. These factors contribute to greater efficiency within the economy, allowing for the production of more goods with the same level of inputs. It is through these means that true wealth is generated and uplifts the overall state of the economy. The current focus on inflationary policies raises concerns about the well-being of ordinary individuals and the persistence of rising costs. Expanding the mandate of central banks, addressing income equality, and taking proactive policy measures could lead to a more balanced and inclusive approach to economic stability. Ultimately, fostering innovation and productivity remains the key to sustainable economic growth and prosperity. In conclusion, the challenges facing America in achieving its economic goals are multifaceted and complex. From balancing the dual mandate of stabilizing prices and maximizing employment to addressing income inequality and ensuring financial stability, the road ahead is fraught with obstacles. It requires a delicate balance of monetary policy, fiscal measures, and legislative action. Understanding the nuances of these challenges is crucial for individuals, policymakers, and economists alike. By fostering a comprehensive dialogue and exploring innovative solutions, we can strive towards a more inclusive and prosperous economy that meets the needs of all Americans. It's time to work together to overcome these hurdles and forge a path towards sustainable economic success. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more eye-opening videos, and don't forget to press the like button and also turn on the notification bell. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.